Maybach music.
Welcome back to another Everyman Movie Critic, where we bring the love of movies back to you. And as always, it's me, Johnny B.
And I'm Scott.
This week we're going to talk about What a Career for Adam Sandler. And I was looking over his list and his dramas and comedies, and it's a little similar to Jim Carrey's career in a way, where he started out on a goofball. He had his biggest breakthrough on his TV show initially, and it just blew up in movies a little before and a little after. But his first one that is most notable was a movie called Going Overboard. Now, I don't know much about this movie. Scott is more of an expert on that one.
It's his very first one that they really talked about. He's had a big part in it, but I mean the movie is kind of a B movie. It's not the best made movie. He's on a boat, and it's definitely a recommended one if you like Adam Sandler, like I do. Adam Sandler is one of my favorites as far as comedians go, and so I would definitely recommend that. But there's not much you really have to say about that. It's just Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler. It's before he was doing the opera band from
SNL.
Yep.
And then he really hit his stride in SNL, developed a lot of good characters. And luckily he never did an SNL movie where he was just like a character he did on the show. Like
yeah,
if they did
Opera Man
would
would be horrible.
But his funny songs always played his act throughout his career. Like so before he really got into his own movies, he was doing little bit parts here and there. Like he did Coneheads. He was.
Yeah, well, who was in that? I watched that movie. I don't remember him at all in it.
I think he was like the boyfriend. No, that was not the boyfriend. I know he was in there somewhere. I don't remember exactly when, but he was an SNL alum, so of course they were going to throw a bunch of people.
It didn't surprise me that he was in it, but I just don't. I remember watching the movie. I mean, well, the main focus is obviously the family, the Coneheads. So
Dan Aykroyd and Jane Curtin.
I just don't recall him in it. So
yeah, guys, help us out in the comments below. Remind us where he was in that movie.
No. Now Airheads.
And then Airheads, that was one of the best movies.
He had a decent part in that. I mean, it was still a bit because it's focused mostly on.
That's where he started getting all the hot chicks in all the movies. I mean, what's her name?
Mm-hmm.
Size Moscow, that chick. I came with the blonde hair and the big boobs. I just love that movie.
He was a drummer in the band, and he
him and Steve Buscemi and Brandon Fraser back when he was. That was one of Brandon Fraser's one of his few only movies back then where he wasn't a fish out of water. Because he always did the fish out of water movies.
See, I don't understand what you mean by that.
It just means somebody who stands out from everybody else, like who's out of their element. Like he played even in School Ties, he was a fish out of water. He was a Jewish kid going to an all-Catholic school.
Very good football movie.
And then he did like George of the Jungle. It's another guy. He's fish out of water. And then he did that. It's just one of those where you're out of your element. If you're a fish and you're on the land, you're out of your element. That's really he was known for those kind of movies back then.
Okay, I guess that's what.
Dudley Do-Right was another one where he was a fish out of water.
He did the part for what he was supposed to.
Good job, yeah.
The Mummies, he did a great job in.
He wasn't really a fish out of water when he went into his acting. We got to do an interesting career of Brandon Fraser.
Yeah.
What a career. All right, so then he really hit it big in '95 with that Billy Madison, and that's where he started working with these hot actresses, and that was Bridget Wilson, who was better known for back in Mortal Kombat, just a year later. I think it was around that same time.
Billy Madison was a fantastic movie.
And she was in Mortal Kombat like in the very next year or something like that, where she played Sonya Blade.
Swan.
What?
Hello, Swan.
Hello, Swan. Oh yeah. I love his shampoo. Hello, shampoo. He always talks so funny in all his movies.
Yeah.
And even in that movie, we're going to talk about it later, but Funny People, he kind of makes fun of his career because he was like a big goofball comedy actor back then, and now he's more serious. Remember if you watch Funny People with him and Seth Rogen? You don't remember that movie?
I don't think I saw it. I didn't see some of his modern ones.
Well, let's go back for a minute. Billy Madison, then the year after it was Happy Gilmore with Julie Bowen.
That was fantastic.
That's another one. Him and the Bob Barker fight is one of the most iconic scenes.
See, no, those two movies, Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, is kind of a thing that people debate on which one's the best one for him from that.
From back then.
Yeah.
But we'll get into more of his newer stuff where most arguably his best movie to date is actually one that just came out, and we'll talk about that one later. Then you have Bulletproof, where it was kind of like an action-y comedy with Damon Wayans.
That was very good, too. I like that.
And it's kind of. He also had a thing where the main character was the name of the person in the movie, or what, or the name of the movie was the main. Like You Don't Mess with the Zohan, Billy Madison, not Airheads, obviously, Waterboy, Bobby Boucher, Big Daddy, movies like that, which we'll get more into detail. Then from there, one of my favorites of Adam Sandler, The Wedding Singer.
It's a fantastic movie too.
It is, and that's where he started using Alan Covert, who was one of his go-to. Actually, he used him in Happy Gilmore. He was his caddy, the guy with the big bushy beard.
Oh yeah,
that guy. That's Alan Covert, and he actually starred in his own movie called Grandma's Boy. If you ever saw that, I don't know. If you guys check out Grandma's Boy, it's actually a pretty decent watch. He tried to do his own solo movie. It didn't work out. The movie bombed miserably.
Oh, I imagine.
But Alan Covert was in a lot of his movies.
He's definitely a B. Not
it's a B movie.
He's not. I mean, he's definitely not a lead.
No,
actor.
he's not an A-list actor.
Yeah.
No, he should stick to his lane, which was work in Adam Sandler movies. If you watch a lot of Adam Sandler movies, look for Alan Covert, kind of like a Where's Waldo thing, because he's in like every lot of it. Yeah, you can do it. That was Rob Schneider.
I know.
That. But yeah, Rob Schneider was in a bunch of his movies too.
He kept saying the same line in most of his movies too.
And the other thing about The Wedding Singer is that's when he started working with Drew Barrymore. That was pretty much his it girl back then. He did like 3 movies altogether, which we'll go more into detail.
And he did his proof that he could actually sing.
Well, we already knew he could.
Yeah, but people that are just in the movies.
But it all was bullshit. That was such a good
He
song.
people that didn't really watch TV as much and they watched just the movies, they didn't realize that until then that actually he could sing. He's actually a good singer.
He did a really good job in that.
He does the same thing over in 8 Crazy Nights when we.
He has one of the most romantic songs in that movie too, where he's singing it to her over the airplane microphone with Billy Idol.
Yeah.
That's such a good song. I Want to Grow Old with You.
They can do pretty much whatever they want.
Even let you hold the remote control. And then that same year or the year after was The Waterboy.
Yep.
Bobby Boucher.
The Waterboy came out
Oblongata.
same year. Came out in '98. Yes.
Fairuza Balk was not as hot as some of the other blondes that he worked with. But she was okay.
Is she blonde?
No, she's a brunette.
Yeah, I thought so. I was like,
Fairuza Balk, for all you guys don't remember her, she was also in the sequel to Wizard of Oz. That was her for Return to Oz. She played Dorothy in that one. Then The Craft, yes, she was most notable.
She's in quite a bit of
American
movies.
History X.
She just was in The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah. Wait, she was?
Yeah.
The new one? She's in the new show or the Fear the Walking Dead?
No, she was. I think it was.
No, that's not Fairuza. You're thinking of the
Birch.
other one.
Thinking of
Thora Birch.
Yeah, they look about the same.
Yeah, Thora Birch.
Yeah.
No, they didn't.
They
Thora
look about
Birch.
the same when you get them in certain movies.
Okay.
They had the same type of look.
Oh, like the
I know what
goth
you mean.
look?
Kind of, but I mean.
Because Thora Birch was in American Beauty. If you guys want to see.
Oh, that's a different, completely look.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But she's kind of like a very sheltered, isolated girl. In that. All right, we digress.
Yeah.
So The Waterboy, Bobby Boucher.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the first movies he used. What's his name? The Fonz, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the first of many. Yeah. He used him in a couple more, Click and some other ones.
Yeah.
He was like
Henry Winkler's a good actor.
But he was always the Fonz. I mean,
He's
also on that show Barry right now on HBO. If you guys want to see a good comedy drama, check out Barry. It's on HBO. It should be on it's on HBO Max.
He's one of the lawyers on the TV show with Jason Bateman, Arrested Development.
Oh yeah, he was their family lawyer.
And him and Scott Baio.
Yeah. Scott Baio had that weird name though on that show. I can never remember the name of it.
What was it now?
What was the name of Scott Baio? Guys, leave a comment in the comments below because I can't remember what his name was. It was like some obvious name.
It's funny, and I'm drawing a blank on that.
Okay, we'll look it up and we'll say it later on another video.
Yeah.
All right, so
or
then
I'll pop into my head like I did that one.
Now it's his next one. Just a couple years later was his first brush with drama,
that
was Big Daddy. That's what I'm saying. It was the brush with drama. Where later on he did more drama movies coming up in another video a movie we're going to talk about with him. But yeah, Big Daddy, Joey Lauren Adams,
and that was so sad.
Even Jon Stewart did a pretty good job in that movie. And that little boy is actually the kid from. He's on Riverdale now as Jughead. It's the same kid.
Oh.
It's those twins, The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
He was one of them?
Yeah. That's who that is.
I didn't know that.
He was the little boy that he had to adopt.
Oh, I did not know that.
Check it out.
I believe you. I just didn't know that.
That's
I
why they
watched
call
Sweet
me
Life
the
of-
movie guru, because I'm the self-proclaimed movie guru. I know my stuff. But yeah, he's the kid that's now on. He plays Jughead on Riverdale. He's such a good actor. Cole, whatever his name is. Cole Hauser or something like that, I think his name is. Right?
The Sweet Life of
Yeah. Well, no, the kid that played a Jughead. He plays Jughead on. And he was the little kid in Big Daddy.
I thought you said he was in the Sweet Life of.
Zach and Cody. He was
Yeah.
one of the twins. It's
That's
the same
okay.
kid.
All right.
He did
that's
like
not-
he was in Sweet Life.
Okay.
He was in Big Daddy. He was in.
Yeah.
Now he's Jughead on. His name was Cole Hauser, or something like that. Then he went back to his comedy roots, goofball comedy ones. Little Nicky. That was a pretty decent one.
Mr. Deeds.
You can do it, Nicky.
Mhm.
And then Mr. Deeds was another that was a remake from an old movie that a lot of people weren't happy with. With
He did
him
a
and
great job.
Winona Ryder.
Is that who was in it? Yeah.
Yes, Winona Ryder. Did I even have that
You
one
have that
down?
right on there.
But you skipped over one. Another
Oh,
brush
yeah.
with drama with Paul Thomas Anderson was the director. Is very, very great director, and he did Punch Drunk Love.
It wasn't too bad.
Him and Emily Watson and Philip Seymour Hoffman did a bit part in there, and it's just a good movie. Very, very good movie. If you want to see Adam Sandler do something other than comedy, he actually has really good dramatic chops in that movie.
You can do about anything, I think.
And then Reign Over Me is another example with him and Don Cheadle, where he does another drama bit. We did a few years later, and it's about, he plays a guy who lost his wife in 9/11, and he's kind of dealing with it now.
I don't really remember that. I know when Mr. Deeds came out the same year, I know that 8 Crazy Nights came out too.
Yep.
Which was his.
If you like animated movies and you like Adam Sandler and his Hanukkah song kind of
Hanukkah movie.
Yeah.
Not a Christmas movie, but a Hanukkah movie.
Yeah. I know. He's Jewish. We all know. Nothing wrong with that.
Didn't say there was.
And then the next movie he did with Drew Barrymore, 51st Dates, that's one of my favorites. And that's where he had like a thing for going to tropical locations and filming movies and just to take a vacation, it seemed like. And
I know
I
you
swear
were
to
saying
God.
that. I don't know.
And that was the first one he used Sean Astin in it too. I love 10 Second Tom, or 10 Second Tom in that movie. Remember? He's like, "Hi, I'm Tom. Hi, I'm Tom." And that was Alan Covert who played him in that too. He was 10 Second Tom. So that's what I'm saying. Alan Covert throughout his whole career.
Yeah.
Then we have Spanglish. I think it came out around the same time.
Yeah, that was
Paz
pretty
Vega,
good. I didn't.
Tia Leone.
Yeah, I didn't put that as one of my
You know who she's
top
married to,
movies.
right?
But who's she married to?
Tia Leone.
She's not married to herself.
No, she's married to David. You jackass.
You said who? I said who
She's
she
married
married
to
Tia Leone.
David Duchovny.
Ah.
Everybody knows him from X-Files.
With the lights on.
Yes. I would never watch that show. The reboot was actually pretty good. I watched it because it was more of a serial.
I watched quite a bit of them, but I didn't watch the whole series. I want to go back and watch it. I know my wife loved it, and my dad actually loved it. And so, but
Now we digress, I know. And then his next one was the football movie where he remade The Longest Yard, the Burt Reynolds classic from the 70s.
you kind of skipped your favorite movie, but I know we can go into that later.
Reign Over Me?
No, Anger Management was before.
Oh yeah,
that.
no, I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
Anger Management was a good one. And I love how they take a great actor and pair him up with Adam Sandler. He did friggin' Jack Nicholson was such a good. Oh my God! And
Jack
then I think he
Nicholson-
worked with Marissa Tomei in that. Oh yeah, he worked with Marissa Tomei in that one.
Jack. That was one of the first times that I
and
actually.
Alan Covert was in that as well.
That's one of the first times that I actually found something that I liked with Jack Nicholson in it.
Anger Management.
Yeah.
You didn't like him in like not any given Sunday. Oh, what the hell is that military movie called with Tom Cruise? You Can't Handle the Truth. That one.
Yeah, all right, but I mean he's kind of a dick, and I don't really like a dick character.
Well, he's earned it. I mean, that guy is like an amazing actor.
No, he does a good job. And after I saw Anger Management and actually saw him with a good actor, I can see that he's better than I thought. But it had to be a good actor with him for me to see that he was a decent actor. And so Adam Sandler brought that out to me with him. And then I was like, could go back and watch other movies with him and see. He's like, okay, he's not as bad as I thought he was, I guess.
We're gonna do a whole one about Jack Nicholson anyway.
Hopefully I don't fall asleep.
What a career! Yeah, good luck. All right, so back to Longest Yard. That was really good remake. Actually, Burt Reynolds was in that. We
Yep.
talked about that in our football
Yes.
video, which I'll leave a link above for that one. It's not there yet.
Oh.
It's post-editing.
Oh.
Then we have Click with Kate Beckinsale, and again, Fonzie
Yeah.
was in that again. Henry Winkler.
That was a
As
good
his
movie.
father.
It took me a while to watch that. I didn't.
Click?
Yeah.
Christopher Walken was the
Oh, yeah.
crazy guy in the Bed Bath and Beyond.
Yeah.
he went to the Beyond to get it.
It's
That is such a
fantastic.
cool concept, though. Giving somebody a remote and you can fast forward. Who wouldn't want that in their real life?
I would love that. Yeah.
Oh my God! To be able to, but then it remembers things that you don't like to do, and then sometimes you don't want to skip. But I do like the lesson that you did learn in that movie is don't take the small things for granted. Is what he had to learn by the end of that movie, and that's actually a good life lesson. Do not take the small things for granted. And with what's going on in the world right now, people are starting to appreciate the small things again, spending time with their kids and being at home more. Then we go on to another dramatic movie for him, Funny People, where again he plays like himself in that movie, where he has he was an old actor who did like comedies back in the 80s.
I don't think I saw Funny People. Was that one of the movies when he started doing his Netflix things? Or?
No, that was direct to video. That was in the theaters.
Okay, because
Seth Rogen plays like this comic who he hires him to write jokes for his stand-up comic.
I mean, I know I watched Don't Mess with
the Zohan. That's another one of his goofball ones.
Yeah,
where he put his name in the title.
Yeah, 2008 was when that came out. I Funny People, I don't really remember.
Yeah.
His
buddy directed that movie. The guy who did 40-year-old virgin. Why can't I think of his name? But he was one of Judd Apatow, who actually uses his wife in all his movies. Leslie Mann. She was in 40-Year-old Virgin.
Like
she was
Rob Zombie.
I guess. Leslie Mann was in 40-Year-old Virgin. She was the one that threw up all over the guy who was in... Why can't I think of his name? I'm drawing a blank on everybody's name today. Because we're not doing it. The guy who was in Bruce Almighty, Evan Almighty, that guy.
Oh, that's...
See, you're drawing a blank too.
Yeah.
Steve Carell.
Steve Carell, yes.
But anyway, she was the one who threw up on Steve Carell in the 40-Year-old Virgin. But that was another Judd Apatow movie, 40-Year-old Virgin. He did Knocked Up, and he did movies like that.
Knocked Up was awesome.
His wife was in that. His wife was in the sequel too.
That's decent comedy. It's not like stupid comedy. So I like that.
There was another Judd Apatow one that he did, the sequel to Knocked Up, about the Leslie Mann in Knocked Up, how he had the friends that were their friends in that movie. They did a whole movie. This Is 40, I think it was called. Paul Rudd and Leslie Mann, that married couple, and his two younger daughters. Judd Apatow's two daughters are the two girls in that too. But we digress.
Yeah.
All right. So then his another tropical movie with Jennifer Aniston, where they were pretending to be in a relationship to make some woman jealous, and that was Just Go With It, where they go to Hawaii.
Did they have? Were they
movie.
both trying to hook up? They were trying to get back with somebody else, or they wanted to see?
No, it was
something?
just him. He was a dentist, and she worked for him, and he asked her to go and pretend to be his girlfriend to make a woman jealous.
Okay.
And then they bumped into her on the island, and and they ended up falling in love at the end. Yeah, one of those things. Then of course you got all the grown-up movies.
Oh, they're fantastic movies.
But they have
stars.
You can tell that those guys phone it in though. Now what people don't know, if you don't know what phone it in means, it just means you just basically show up and say your lines and then leave. It was an excuse for four friends to get together and come on.
They make a great movie.
It was a good movie. It's kind of like Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, where George Clooney got all his friends together and they...
Wild Hogs?
Maybe. Yeah. I don't think those were just close-knit friends like...
Yeah, I can't picture John Travolta in that.
Hanging out
with them.
Tim Allen and... No.
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I did like the grown-up movies. They were really good. Shaquille O'Neal was in that with them, and he was another one of those actors that he used in a bunch of his movies. The next one... Then you got the whole Hotel Transylvania series.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really good. He's got all his friends in that. Basically just grown-ups, but with doing voices. You got Adam Sandler, and you got David Spade, and you got Rob Schneider, and you got Steve Buscemi does the voice of the werewolf, and Kevin James is the voice of Frankenstein, and so basically it's just another one of his
great anime thing. It was the second anime that he made, and then he made like three of them. They're pretty good.
The third one was just as good as the second one, and the second one was just as good as the first.
Now, a couple of the Netflix movies that I like, that he did.
Oh, Ridiculous Six and all those other ones?
No, I was talking about
That's one of the
That's
Netflix
My Boy and The Cobbler were two movies that I really liked from him.
Those aren't Netflix ones.
They're not Netflix? They're okay.
Ridiculous Six was his first one,
Okay.
and some of those ones. But no,
The Cobbler.
the Cobbler was a
That's
theater.
My Boy
It was
We're
a
Not.
theater
Okay.
release. That's My Boy with him and Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
I like that movie. That's a pretty.
Yeah.
Where he plays the father. He had a kid when he was like 12.
They were two of my favorite movies that
Those
he
are
was
pretty
in, actually.
And then he did also Bedtime Stories, which is another kids.
There's another kids comedy anime type of.
That wasn't animated.
Well, the cart that's kind of like Bed Knobs and
Bromsticks.
Yeah, the
This
Disney
is not an
movie.
English lesson, kids. This is
No, but how they
Yes, I know what you're talking.
and Cool World.
Yeah, where they have animation in the background. Mary Poppins made it popular.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those type of thing. That's why I say it's. That's why I said animated, because it has some animation into it. I mean, it wasn't a full animation.
I do agree that was a good movie.
Yeah.
I wasn't just gonna name all of his movies.
No, I just wanted to talk about That's My Boy and The Cobbler, because they were like fantastic movies.
And then we come to his third one. Oh wait, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, that's pretty much it. I just said they're fantastic movies, and they have great actors in it, and the movies are definitely worth watching.
Oh wait, social distancing. Sorry, supposed to sit 6 feet away from me. 2 arm lengths. So if you don't see Scott on the camera next week, you hear his voice in the background, because 6 feet apart. All right, so we come up to our third movie with him and Drew Barrymore, where again he goes on another exotic vacation to film a movie while he's there, which was Blended. That was really good. Where he's got 2 sons. No, he's got 2 daughters, who he's trying to raise as boys, and then Drew Barrymore's got 2 boys that are hellions also, and they kind of help each other out.
And I didn't watch that movie.
Terry Crews is in that movie also.
Terry Crews is fantastic.
He plays like this concierge guy that constantly pops up and starts singing. It's so funny. It's like a running joke.
Well,
throughout
Terry
the whole
Crews
movie.
is just
What happens in Africa stays
funny.
in Africa.
And
Well,
he's a big tough guy, but I mean he was
a football player
funny.
too. He used to be a football player for like Raiders or something like that, I think.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what team, but it's like one of those California teams.
I know that
He
he's
does
so
the pecs,
funny. Yes,
yeah.
he does that too. But no, I mean he's so funny because he.
Well, he's got Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's on that, and he does a great show on that.
I just think about the one there where he was the president, and he used to be a former wrestler, and when he became the president, yeah.
Where Fuddruckers is now Dumbfuckers.
Yeah.
That's such a good movie. It's kind of what's going on in the world right now.
Kind of. It kind of can be. You got 2 wrestlers in the White House right now. Or not wrestlers, but 2 people from the wrestling family in the White House.
Yep. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was a governor for a while, and Jesse Ventura was a governor for a while.
I think, well, right now the mayor of Knoxville.
But those guys weren't dumbasses. At least they knew what they were talking about. They were intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys like, Idiocracy was a good movie. Go check it out. Maya Rudolph and Luke Wilson, I think, was in that one.
Yes.
I know. I always have a bad time with Luke and Owen.
Mm-hmm.
Luke is the brunette. Owen is the blonde with the funny nose. All right, and then my most recent favorite movie. Now I have a cool story about this. Pixels, and that's just in the culmination of all of Adam Sandler's movies, because it was like he's a huge '80s star, or '90s more like than anything. But I don't know if you guys have seen it, but if you guys like '80s movies, if you like '80s video games and the '80s video game boom, and you're nostalgic for that, go check out Pixels. So I was wearing...
Is it an animated thing?
No. Well, it has animation in the background because they go up against like Galaga, and they go up
Okay, yeah, I did see that.
There's a giant Pac-Man, and there's
they come down
there's
from
a Scorpion.
The
He has to do the first game he has with Josh Gad was Scorpion, or Centipede.
I like that. I didn't...
Galaga, and then Breakthrough. Remember that game, Breakthrough?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Breakout.
Bing, 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 bing.
Breakout.
Breakout, Breakthrough. One have the difference. But what funny story about that? I was at a con one year, Chiller. It's called Chiller Theater Expo, and Ralph Macchio was there, biggest '80s icon star of all time, because the Karate Kid. And I had the Pixels shirt on, and I go up to Ralph Macchio to get my picture taken with him. He's talking to me, and he's like, he actually asked me if Pixels was any good. And I told him, dude, it's an awesome movie. The critics don't like it, but if you like Adam Sandler and you like the '80s, check out Pixels. It's actually a really good watch. And Peter Dinklage is in that, and that's a great movie. Peter Dinklage can do anything. He's actually an homage character to this guy from the '80s who had a mullet. His name was Billy something or other. He's a very controversial video game player, and actually is now he's been proven to be a cheat. in his games back
Oh, was
then.
that when they did that that video game one where they had it's like a documentary?
He's in a bunch of them. King of Kong, there was one of them.
Yeah.
And there was another one called Chasing
It doesn't
Ghosts.
surprise me that he was a cheat.
No, what he did was he took a game board from like from a different console and put it in the whatchamacallit, the box, and there was like a easier way to beat some of those games, and that's how he got some of his high scores. So now they're going back and checking, and they're pretty much wiping out all his records. They have to. There's Twin Galaxy was the name of the arcade back in the 80s. It was made him famous, and Twin Galaxies is now the company that keeps they keep track of all the scores, high scores in video games, even to this day. And the reason why he was such...
That's just arcade games, right?
Now, this is all speculation, but it was a lot to do with him and the guy who ran it, Walter Day, who is really well known for Twin Galaxies. And they were best friends. And, of course, he didn't want to believe Billy. I can't think of his name. But anyway, my point is that Peter Dinklage played an homage character to him.
Okay.
Where he always had an edge. He had the cheat codes to... Remember, he had the cheat code to Pac-Man in his glasses.
You say mullet, I think of Joe Dirt for some reason.
Yeah.
But.
Well, he's the one of the most famous. Joe Dirt. There you go. Adam Sandler's best friend. David Spade. It's one of his best movies, actually.
David Spade is a good actor.
He has some of the... Talk about quotable movies. Life was a garden, dig it. That's such a good line. But anyway, we digress, I know. Now we're going to get up to his last movie that just came out in the theaters, and it's already got Oscar buzz for him. Do we have the Oscars this year? God knows. With
We should be able to have them.
I don't know. With
everybody's doing everything from home now. They might as well just do the Oscars from home.
And if
they don't have to have hosts for shows anymore anyway.
Well, they're talking about bringing a host back this year, and it's only the Oscars that was doing that because they did it 1 year, the ratings went up. They did it the second year, the ratings went down. So they don't know what to do. Anyway, but there's a lot of great people that could host the show. Patton Oswalt wants to host the show.
Neil Patrick Harris would be awesome.
He already did that once. Or that was Hugh Jackman. But anyway, so the movie we're talking about is Uncut Gems, where he plays like this jeweler in New York City, and he's like on the run and trying to get money. It's just one of those fast-paced, always keep going, and it's just really well acted. Another one, it's a drama, and they're saying it's like his comeback movie. And that Adam Sandler is just a phenomenal actor, and he actually does acting.
I don't think he ever went away.
Well, the critics were starting to not like his movies after a while, and they're...
What's this channel about?
I know. But my point, I'm going to bring it up. Why? As to why. I don't agree with it. Like, Pixels is one of the best movies I've ever seen, and of course they pick it apart. He just looks like he's having fun. You do have to admit that sometimes he does look like he's just going along for the ride in some of his movies, and the fact that he goes to like these exotic locations sometimes to film movies where he's going on. He kind of admitted that he likes going to these exotic places to have a vacation. Oh, and hey, while we're here, let's record a movie.
But a movie is only, the actor is only as good as the movie gives it. So if you've got a script that's half-assed, you're going to have a half-assed performance.
Not always. This is depending on the actor. Because everybody said the same thing about Ocean's 12, where all of them felt like they were phoning it in because they actually filmed it on one of the major points was on George Clooney's house in Lake Como, where that's what I'm saying. There's certain actors that feel like they phone it in sometimes.
If you have a poor script, you can do your best to make it better, but it's still going to be a half-assed performance because even though you gave 110% in that. But
it's the performance that can make the difference.
The movie didn't do it, so that's what it's done.
I'll give you an example. Frank Langella.
The hell's that?
He's the guy who played Skeletor in the He-Man movie. Horrible script, crappy movie, but he stood out because he took the lines and made them his own and made it very Shakespearean. Another one, Raul Julia. Crappy movie with Street Fighter, and he raised the level of the... He's one of the most stand-up characters. That's like an actual
I didn't
thing.
notice. Yeah, okay, but I just didn't notice them. Either one of them.
That's my point. Is that
I didn't notice.
You don't have to. I'm just talking about the every perspective of the everyman. That's what this is. The everyman.
Apparently, I'm not an everyman because I didn't notice them.
Well, that's what everybody who talks about the He-Man and they talk about Street Fighter, those are the two performances that always stand out.
I think of
They
the
played a
characters,
hell of a
not about
villain.
the actors, honestly.
They played a hell of a villain. They elevated the character because their charisma. Raul Julia is an amazing actor.
That's what you and some other people say.
Pretty much the majority of everybody who talks about it.
Well, I talk about it now.
You're a very different person, Scott. I'm
Thank
talking
you.
about
I appreciate that.
the rounded out overall view, which I agree with.
That's I know you agree with that. I just was
They
saying,
elevate the performance.
I just was saying
They
that
are
I don't
giving a
think they
shitty
did
script.
anything better.
They're given a shitty script and they
Mhm.
make the most out of it just by making it their own.
Yeah, so I disagree with you on that. I'm just saying that I don't believe that if there's you can do any better on something. How old is Johnny? We
I don't even know sometimes.
But
All right, we're gonna wrap it up here before we get into an argument.
no, they're not arguing.
No,
We're
I
just
know.
talking about it. I just said that I don't believe you can do any better with the script. You can do your best, and I don't think they stood out.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's why I like him on our channel because he's like got this weird opinion about movies.
Or a cool opinion.
Guys, you tell us in the comments below what you thought about Raul Julia in Street Fighter.
I didn't know who he was.
And if you also thought that Frank Langella
Didn't know who he was.
you know who Skeletor was.
I knew Skeletor. I didn't know who they were, though.
Let me talk to the audience now. Stop. So in the comments below, write down if you thought that Frank Langella did a great job as Skeletor and elevated the character, and if you thought Raul Julia elevated the character of Bison in the Street Fighter movie. And that was my relevant point, is that the overall criticism between those, no matter what everybody said, the two main things that stand out, Raul Julia did a great job, and Frank Langella did a great job.
Mm.
And there's other actors in the same kind of situations where they just do an amazing job with what they're given.
I thought Jean-Claude Van Damme did a fantastic job, even though he wasn't right for the part.
No, he definitely wasn't. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for watching. As always, subscribe if you like the content and you want to see more. Hit the notification button so you can be apprised to new videos coming out. Hit the like button. Make sure you share our videos on social media to help blow up our channel. And we'll see you guys next time.